Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Docs from Docs Outdoor Adventure. I know that my YouTube channel is basically hunting, fishing, drag racing, cooking, family and stuff. But in the lights of what has happened over the past week, I'm going to deviate from that for just a little bit. So I ask you all to indulge me. And you know, you don't have to listen, you don't have to agree. You don't even have to want to hear it. Turn it off if you don't like it. But what I have to say is important, not because I'm a Charlie Kirk fan, not because I'm a follower, not any of that. In all reality, guys, I never even knew who this guy was until he was shot and killed. Never heard the name before, never knew anything about him, had no clue who he was. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm also a conservative constitutionalist. I am probably one of those people that you may not like. Why? Because I believe in the Constitution, I believe in freedom of speech, I believe in the right to bear arms, I believe in God, I believe in closed borders, I believe in certain things that really align with conservatism. I'm not a liberal, okay? Never have been, even though I've been a registered Democrat my entire life. I do that because I'm actually a union member as well. And I'm a very strong believer in unions' rights. That's not public unions. I actually don't believe in public unions. I believe in private unions. I believe when a group of guys can get together and collectively bargain against another company to have equal fair rights and equal pay and to bring up their standard of living, in exchange that company receives higher educated, better quality workers to improve their profit. It is a win-win for both scenarios. So unions in the private sector work very well. I not so much in the private sector. I'm sorry if that pisses you off, but that's just facts, okay? But we're not gonna dwell into that. That could be a subject for another day. When Charlie was killed, you know, I was hearing, I have friends from all over the spectrum and family, left extreme, right extreme, all the way into the middle. So I was getting hit by all the viewpoints, all the talking points, all the philosophies. And I don't even know who this guy was. I'm like, okay, so apparently this guy is pretty polarizing. So I'm like, all right, so I do what I normally do. Rather than just simply listen to the talking points, listen to the clickbait, listen to uneducated news media outlets projecting whatever they want to do for, you know, ratings, I went and did some research. I found out this guy actually recorded every public speaking event he pretty much ever did. And he did that so that his words couldn't be twisted, even though they did get twisted. But he did it in the hopes that, you know, the truth would be out there. So what did I learn and I spent about 8 hours of watching his videos. What did I learn about Charlie in watching his videos? I learned that, well, first of all, he was accused of being a fascist. He was accused of being racist. He was accused of being misogynistic. He was accused of being homophobic. He was accused of spreading hate speech and inciting anger and violence. So these were all the things that, you know, the left was really projecting. And then, of course, the right was projecting him as being an angel. Okay, fair enough. Two extremes here, guys. So again, I did my research. So I watched his videos. I took the time. I educated myself on who this 31-year-old man was, okay? And what I learned was, first and foremost, he was a Christian. He believed in God. He had a devout faith to God, and he believed in the divine. He believed in Jesus Christ. He believed in right and wrong. He believed in morality. And I'm sorry, but that's not hate speech. I have friends on the left that are in the ministry, okay? And they love God, and they believe in God, and they believe in morality, and they have their own systems of belief. So for you to say simply because he was a Christian and he believed in God that somehow he was a fascist or a hater or wanted, you know, all people to die, it's not true, okay? He was deeply, deeply rooted in his faith. If you believe in God in any way, shape, or form, you should be able to relate to that level of morality. The second thing I learned about him was he loved his country, America, very deeply. He believed in its success. He believed in the way it was rooted and the way it was formed, and how good it was for everybody, and how everybody had an opportunity of equal ness. And he really strongly believed that. He also believed in closed borders. He believed in closed borders because he believed America and Americans came first. Veterans came first. American citizens came first. Those people are the ones that we need to take care of and nurture and allow them to have their dream first, not people that come across the border illegally. So he believed in closed borders, and he believed in deporting criminals. You are a criminal when you come across the border, and you are a criminal every day you stay here as an illegal alien. Doesn't matter what you do, you're still committing crime. He did believe in deporting people that were here because they are, in fact, a drain on the system. You can argue with me all you want. Facts are facts. I don't care. He believed in marriage. He believed in one man, one woman marriage. He did not believe in homosexuality or transsexualism, or there's more than two genders. And for right or wrong, just because somebody's faith dictates to them that God created one man and one woman, and that's all there is, that's not hate speech. Okay, that's his belief rooted in his faith. And nobody should ever label that as hate speech or wrong, even if you disagree with it. You can have your own belief, and that's okay. The problem we have in society today is people have stopped allowing other people to have their own beliefs or their own faiths. It's become that situation where you either have to believe the way I do, or you're somehow racist or fascist or homophobic, or you're out to kill people. That's not true, and it's never been true. And that we've come to that point in society where we all can't believe, as Americans, that we have a right to our own belief system, and we have a right to speak our own belief system. He never spoke hatred. He never spoke down to anybody. Charlie's primary goal and everything he founded was to go to college campuses and give everybody a voice. Okay, I watched the videos. He would debate. He was a debater. He's good at it. He brought his opinion, his facts, and his belief to the table. Then he challenged anybody who didn't agree with him to come up and talk to him in an open forum where everybody could see. And he did it in a very mature, calm, cool, collected manner. He never demeaned anybody. He never put anybody down. You have to understand, and this is where I think a lot of people's feelings get hurt. A debate is not about emotion. It's about you conveying your system of beliefs to another person, either based in the facts you bring to the table or the common sense you bring to the table. And they do the same. And you have an exchange, and you may not reach an agreement, or maybe you will, or maybe you'll learn a little bit about each other. And that's kind of what Charlie did. He was willing to sit down in the lion's den and say, hey, come to the front of the line if you disagree with me on anything. Charlie believed in no abortions, okay? And, he's like, hey, if you believe in abortion, come in, let's talk about it. He believed in God and Jesus Christ. Hey, if you're an atheist, come in, let's talk about it. He believed in closed borders. Hey, if you believe in open borders, come in, let's talk about it. One of the things I thought was very interesting about Charlie, and he mentioned this in one of his videos, did you know that he was actually willing to go along with the concept that the colleges should be held accountable for fraud, for defrauding students into these ridiculous student loans that put them in debt, that gave them a degree that did them no good when they graduated? He fully believed that these colleges should be forced to give refunds to these kids that they defrauded. And most of you guys might not realize this, but when you go to college, you're forced to live on campus for the first year. The reason they do that is because statistically, most college students drop out after the first year. So the colleges want to get the most money out of you they can in the first year. Okay, and then the subsequent years they loosen up those things, but colleges have one goal in mind, and it's not your education. It's making money off of you, and the money they make off of you are through student loans, grants, and scholarships. In other words, the government's giving them money and the banks are giving them money. They don't give a damn about you as a student. Okay, so as long as they can keep you in there, they make money. They don't care what happens when you get out. They will do whatever they can, whatever degree they think they can brainwash you into taking. And then when you graduate and you can't make a living off of that, well, that's your fault. He didn't believe that. He believed colleges should be held accountable for the fraud they created on young, innocent minds, giving them the idea that they could, incur hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt and then send them on their way and they get paid. The student has the debt. School's already been paid. They don't care, okay? That was one of Charlie's big pet peeves about the colleges. But you didn't know that, did you? So yes, he was a conservative. Yes, he believed in the Second Amendment. Yes, he believed in the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion. Yes, he was a conservative. Yes, he believed in closed borders. Yes, he believed in one man, one woman, one marriage because of his faith. Obviously, if he's a God-fearing Christian that believes in Jesus Christ, in some faiths, this is just the way you believe. Does that make him somebody who spoke hatred? No. Does that make him an evil person? No. What exactly makes an evil person of somebody that simply believes in one God, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, the belief in one man, one woman, one family, the belief in, he's against abortion. Abortion is a divided issue. Some of us believe in it. Some of us don't. Some of us have rules in the middle. But that doesn't make any of us evil. It's just a different belief system in abortion. And we all have a right to believe the way we believe because we're dealing with a human life. You have the woman who is a human life, and you have that baby who is a human life. Those are two human lives. They both, are you ready? Have rights, guys. Okay? It's not just the woman and her body. It's the woman, her body, and the baby. And the baby is a human life, and it has rights too. So the discussion when you come to abortion is very simple. You have ideas over here, you have ideas over here, and you have a concept in the middle. Nobody is preaching hate speech. Nobody is evil in that dialogue. Everybody has a belief and a faith system that they're going to go by, and that's okay. When we want to talk about freedom of speech, and this is one of the things that's really a big deal for me. We have so lost our way when it comes to freedom of speech in America. Okay, we have either become so desensitized or oversensitized to it that we've forgotten that we all have the right to speak our mind. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. You can have your own opinion. You can speak your mind too. What you don't have the right to do is stifle somebody else's opinion, stifle somebody else's speech. You don't have that right. I'm sorry, in America, we all have the right to speak our mind. I'm speaking my mind now. You can challenge me. You can comment, okay? But I have a right to say what I'm saying. I have in a little village in a valley of West Virginia, two men can have the right to disagree philosophically on the right to bear arms. One man can go up to the top of the hill on the left, the other man can go up to the top of the hill on the right, and they can scream their opinions to the top of their lungs, and they can get as many people to support them as they want. But at the end of the day, as Americans, they should be able to come down from those hills collectively, go into the bar, and share a beer. That's what America's about. Being able to share differing philosophies and ideas, being able to disagree, being able to have a dialogue, an open dialogue, where you can express your differences in a civil manner, have each person see where you're coming from, it's called a debate, and be allowed to walk away as you were together when you walked in, as Americans, able to go and have a beer or share a dinner. You don't have to agree with each other to be friends. You don't have to agree with each other to be Americans, okay? To be an American means to disagree. To be an American means I may not like what my neighbor's doing, but he's still my neighbor, and if he's in trouble, I'm going to help him. That's what it's about, to be American, okay? Helping people that you disagree with fundamentally because they're human. It's the moral thing to do. It's the right thing to do. You don't have to agree with them. I have tons of friends on Facebook, okay, that are very far left, and I hear their opinions, and I hear their comments, and I read what they say, and I read some of the vitriol, and I do not engage with them on their belief system, because I know they are so strongly rooted in their beliefs, nothing I say will ever change it. And I'm not going to try. Well, you know what I simply do? I respect them for where they are. I have people on the right that are far right. Okay, I'm a little bit off center to the right, but I'm not hardcore right. And as a consequence, I do the same thing with them. I look at them, I respect them. Okay, I honor their opinions. I find value in it, just like I do on the left, but I don't engage because I know I'm not going to change their opinion. I have mine, they have theirs, and those are people I appreciate and respect. And I'm not going to destroy a relationship simply because we don't believe lock and step all the way down the line. You're never going to find anybody like that. And you know, if you think about it, do you really want to? Do you really want to have a society and a world where everybody believes the same, everybody thinks the same, everybody looks the same, everybody eats the same, drives the same, lives in the same house, everything's the same color? Do you really want to live in a world where we have no diversity, no imagination, no challenges? Do you really want to be in that world? Or do you want to be in a world where you actually are challenged, where you actually have to think, where you actually have to get up in the morning and make a choice? Where do you want to live? Because I don't want to live in the Timmy Turner Blob episode where everybody's gray eating gray and everybody looks the same. Okay, I want to live in a world where individualism is what makes you special. Your thoughts, your looks, your actions, that's what makes you special. That's what gives you the ability to succeed in life. I want to live in a country where you can come from the poorest of the poor of the poor out of Chicago, okay, and you can make something yourself and you can become, I don't know, brain surgeon. You know, you teach yourself how to read when even your mother didn't know how to read. It's what I want. I want somebody that can graduate high school and decide, you know what, I'm not a college person. I think I'm going to go into a trade school. And they go and they become an electrician or a crane operator, you know, and they go out there and they help build society. And they end up making $150,000 to $160,000 a year. I want to live in a world where, you know, maybe somebody grows up and decides they want to join the military, okay? And they can join the military and they can become, you know, a fighter jet pilot, or maybe they just want to be a grunt and carry a rifle. But it's their freedom to choose is what makes them special, okay? And when they get out of the military, they can use that money that they actually earned to go to college to further their profession and end up with a good paying job at the end, and maybe even a pension if they stayed in long enough. I want to be part of a country where somebody can have a passion in school, go to college, work hard, get a degree, get scholarships, pursue that passion and that love, and actually learn how to excel in society with that degree stemming from that passion they had without being saddled by a world of debt from school, because school is the greed, okay? I want to be part of a world where we can be free from the crime and murder and rape and drugs. I don't want crime in my streets. I don't want crime in my cities. I want a society to feel safe. I want a society to believe that it's okay to go out in the street and play at night with their kids, not, you know, worried about, well, is somebody going to do a drive-by and my kids are going to accidentally get shot. I want to live free in a world where I know that people are not coming across my border illegally, driving down wages, okay, falsifying Social Security numbers, drawing on Social Security, which is going to bankrupt it even faster. I want to live in a world where everybody has the same opportunity, but they do it fairly. Now, that's not hate speech. That's not fascism. That's not racism. That's not homophobic. Okay, I want to live in a world where if two men want to get married, they get married, I don't care. Two women want to get married, I don't care, get married. A man wants to be a woman, be a woman. It's okay, it's your life. I have nothing against it. A woman wants to be a man, go ahead. You know, two men want to adopt a baby, okay. I have nothing against these things. But fundamentally as a Christian, if I believe in one man, one woman marriage, then that's what I believe in my faith. I accept you doing what you want in your life, and it's okay. I'm not judging you. But in my world, in my faith, I have this right. You don't have the right to change what I believe. I'm not trying to change you. Don't try to change me just to make sure it makes you feel better, okay? You be you, I'll be me. We can be friends. I don't have to agree with your lifestyle to be your friend. You don't have to agree with my lifestyle to be my friend. This is where we've come to in society in America, is we've stopped allowing each other to be individuals, have their own rights, their own beliefs, and their own freedoms. And we've started killing people because we've become so extreme in our own ideological rhetoric that we've stopped believing the fundamental things that America was founded on. And I know this is going to piss you all off, but America was founded on Judeo-Christian values. That means people are created equal. People have a right to love and achieve and grow on their own strengths. And nobody has a right to take that from you. Nobody. Okay? And these are the things that we have not been taught in a long time. These are the things that are being lost. These are the things that Charlie Kirk pretty much was just debating and arguing and teaching, that all over the place everybody's going, well, it's evil, it's hate speech, he was an evil person. No, he wasn't. Watch his videos. The dude never yelled at anybody, never put anybody down. He debated them. He debated them with passion and strength, and backed it up with his belief in God and his belief in country and his belief in love for another man. He wanted to debate. He wanted an open dialogue. He wanted everything for everybody to be fair and equal. He wanted you to have a voice. He wanted those people that disagreed with him to have a voice, to have a stage, to have an opportunity to debate on a college campus. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad man. That's not somebody that stifles speech or silences or hates. That's somebody that was trying above all else to just lend a voice, not only to his side, but to everybody else's side, because he wanted everybody to be heard. He wanted the public to hear the debate so they could draw an honest conclusion for themselves. I have many friends on Facebook, and they're not going to like this video, and I'm sorry if you don't. This is my face, this is my belief, this is where it is. I don't even think this YouTube episode will probably get more than 14 views, but I'm telling you this right now. Freedom of speech is one of the most fundamental things we have in America. It should never be abused. And when I say abused, I mean silenced. I don't have to agree with you, but you have the right to speak. You don't have to agree with me, but I have the right to speak. And we both should have the right to speak without fear of being murdered. That is wrong. And anybody, doesn't matter if they're liberal, doesn't matter if they're conservative, doesn't matter if they're middle of the road. Nobody should be murdered, hurt, silenced, or punished simply because they are expressing their right to free speech. And everybody, I don't care whether you agree or not with the individual, you should agree that the stifling of free speech on any level, left, right, or middle, is wrong. You should condemn it, not celebrate it. Because by celebrating it, you're tearing down the fabric of this country. You're destroying the ability for people to have emotion, speak passionately, disagree, and argue and debate. And if we lose that, we lose our country. Understand that. It's important to have freedom of speech. It's important to have a difference of ideas. It's important to actually not all think, look, and be the same. We have to be individuals. That's what makes this country great. That's what gives this country the ability to strive, to grow, to achieve, and to be the greatest shining hill in the world. And I'm sorry, we are the best country in the world. I really don't care if you guys agree with that or not. I am an American, first and foremost. And I agree, we are the best. And we need to have that pride. We need to believe in that. We need to believe in our Constitution. We need to be one of those people that goes, no, We're not going to let the media do this to us as a society. We're not going to let them divide us. We're not going to let them destroy us. We're going to think for ourselves. We're going to educate ourselves. We're going to have our own opinions. We're going to believe the way we believe, and we're not all going to agree. But if we do disagree, guess what? It's okay. It's okay to disagree. Just don't turn it into hate. Dog out.